Thank
Like,
you. So wonderful to be here.
yes. Oh gosh. All right. Hang on. Getting straight here. Sunday night, 5 p.m. How are you?
I'm doing well. Thank you. I hope you can hear me okay.
I can. Yes, we had a little audio
Audio
hiccup, but
issues.
yeah, I think we're good. I am going to open the chat. I think there's a few people in. Let's
I still
see.
can't hear you very well.
You
Not
can't?
sure.
Monica, can you hear me?
Yes, a little bit better. Thank you.
Okay, let me turn it up a little bit. Okay, here we go.
Yes, it's
All
better
right,
now.
now I got it. Well, Happy New Year.
Happy New Year to you and everybody else here.
I know it's exciting. It's just off to I think a quick start. I don't know about you, but feels fast.
Yes, yes. It feels like we've hit the ground running. Yeah.
Yeah, that's what they say. It's year of the horse.
Year of the horse. Yeah.
Gallop, gallop.
Everybody's galloping.
Hmm.
Yeah.
What have you got to drink?
Ah, good question. I have this is the mug that I made
Hmm.
with on a wheel. Well,
Oh, you
this
mean?
I am drinking some tea. As you all know, I love my tea. Something I brewed earlier with some dried hibiscus
Mm-hmm.
and cinnamon and rosemaries. So
Oh,
it's a beautiful concoction, a cocktail of various spices and herbs, but it's so yummy.
yeah.
So what do you have
I
today?
have a chamomile and lavender. That's kind of my
Oh,
go-to. It's got a little stain on it.
that's
Talking,
wonderful, wonderful.
yeah, talking to plants is one way of talking directly to spirit. Yeah, we're all
Well,
one, right?
yeah, yeah. Oh, I still cannot hear you so very well.
Okay, hold on.
I have to see what's going on. Can you hear me?
Hmm. Yeah,
Okay, I think this is better. I
it's
think
good. Okay,
we'll do it like this. This is better.
okay, great.
Thank you.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So, I think when we were talking about, we had lunch this week. It was so good to see you in person.
Yes, it's always so nice. Yeah, when we get together to close
Hmm.
out the year and
Hmm.
come back in again the next year. No,
Hmm.
I was thinking that there might be some very interesting things happening for most of us this year.
You think so?
Yes, this month up until I think early February, we may have some of the old remnants of energy sort of on its way out.
Hmm.
Um, Last night I did a full moon healing at night, and it was really lovely because when I was feeling them, those that appeared on Zoom,
Hmm.
um, they are ready to hop on that horse and gallop along, but the
Yeah.
older energy is sort of still tugging at them, and they wanted to be released. And
Yeah.
so I think we have some time before we can completely let go, completely release.
Hmm.
And I'm really looking forward to that for everybody and just move on with 2026 lighter than we have
Yeah,
in all of last year. So, really something to look forward to, I think.
I think so too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we talked about resolutions and whether
Hmm.
we make them or not last time.
Yeah.
And yeah,
Historically, I don't make them.
yeah, neither do I. Yeah, because when I make them, I feel like before I even decided to make something, it's already broken. But someone I was reading earlier somewhere, and there's a whole history behind this New Year resolution. Do you know what it is, Wendy?
No.
It was
Fill
new
me
to
in.
me. Apparently, the Babylonians came up with this something like 4,000 years ago. Isn't that interesting? And then it spread through the Romans, and Romans started using it as well. And I think somehow it trickled into our culture.
Hmm.
And and I wonder what percentage of people that really do the resolutions actually fulfill it through the year. I don't know. That's a interesting question.
It really is. I'd have to guess it's pretty low.
Yeah, I think
That's
so
one that would
too.
be low.
Maybe 20%, 10%, 15%, something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Saturday I was at I go to a hot yoga class, and it's a Saturday
Mhm.
noon class, which, throughout the year, I mean, it's pretty um regularly attended, but this one was packed. I mean, you were like sardines, everybody squishing their stuff, and it's just like, yeah, New Year's, New Year's.
New Year's, everybody wants to get.
Give me 3 weeks and I want to count.
Yes, and so something, the physical life and the physical aspects of us are important because we live in this world and this, three-dimensional world. So I think a part of our body is part of that three-dimensional world. But there's so many other bodies, as you are aware of, Wendy, that also need care and sort of massaging, so to speak,
Yeah.
where we need to really focus on, our emotions and how we feel on a mental plane, and how we are also, advancing on a spiritual level. So those other areas are also important, often overlooked, I feel.
Yeah.
So I hope whoever's listening that you also factor these other areas in as well as you're making your, fine tuning, or as you're moving into this year.
Yeah, I don't, I feel like I'm always kind of looking at different areas, and it's cyclical for me. Sometimes I'm taking more supplements, sometimes
Yeah.
I want to do a different form of exercise. But I think it's more about just figuring out a way to integrate it.
Yes, absolutely. The integration, because so many times, we kind of do things in silos, like in compartments, and somehow we need to sort of weave everything in, like work with everything
Yeah,
effectively.
I know. All right, we've got someone here in the chat. Hi, this is Deepali and Yogi here.
Oh, wonderful.
Monica, is that some of your crew?
Yeah, yes.
If
So
I
nice to have you all. Yeah, wonderful. I wonder if they have any questions that they'd like to ask, or
yeah.
we love questions here. So anything
Mhm.
that is brewing in your mind, in your heart, any question marks, any guidance, yeah, for either of us, Wendy or
Mhm.
myself, love to hear that. Or any areas that you'd like us to focus on, would love to, shed
Yeah.
some light on it as well.
Well, Monica, you had a LinkedIn Live yesterday, correct?
I did. I did have a LinkedIn Live, except the live didn't really happen. It got recorded as a replay. I had some technical issues going on then, and I felt terrible having to leave, those participants sort of hanging, but
Mhm.
they all were able to listen to it later, which
Oh,
was
good.
it was my very first time doing a LinkedIn Live. So stay tuned, everybody. If you
Mhm.
all were part of that, you will be receiving another invite for that in the coming days. Really
Yeah.
looking forward to doing that.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome. So when we were while we're waiting for some questions to come in, when we were at lunch, we were talking about this work that you do and how amazing it is. And, I know in the past you've done some speaking
Yeah.
in the community, and, is that something you were going to pursue in 26?
Yeah, definitely would love to, share this energy, light, and wisdom that percolates through when I'm channeling. I think the concept of channeling is a relatively new one, although, if we go through our ancestors and going all the way back into humanity, this was something that happened, and we all actually have the ability to do so, and we are doing it in some capacity or another. We've talked about this. I think I've been your guest on
Mhm.
another podcast, and we've spoken about channeling, and I think it can be a little bit scary for a lot of people, but
Mhm.
it is so common. It is really something that we all are doing, whether we know it or not. We may not use that terminology per se, but
Mhm.
if you are a creator, if you are, an artist, you're channeling. If you are
Mhm.
a writer, you're channeling. May not be exactly the way I do it,
Mhm.
um, but that comes from developing our, um, our intuition
Yeah.
and sinking in with this spirit, this existence of spirit that is everywhere, that all of us have, access to that. And so I think the more we get closer to that, the more we evolve also spiritually, our ability to do this channel work becomes um, easier and easier. I think more and more people will be able to do it. So I really want to, disseminate this information out to everybody. And as we talk about healing for this year, and even as we're kicking off this new year, um, it's so important for us, for humans, to know that if they have an illness, a physical illness, I think a lot of people can relate to that very well. When
Hmm.
we are physically sick, we feel, um, oh, it's the end of the world, or depending on what the prognosis might be, that our world is coming to an end. But just to recognize that it may not have to be that.
Hmm.
We all have a choice, and the choice might be we simply are going through a moment where we're just asked to pause and, you know,
Yeah.
fine tune our mission, remission, fine tune our mission.
I know there's a lot, obviously going on in the world, but what I'm finding, even in some of the people that I follow, it's turning into a little bit of a fear-based kind
Mm-hmm.
of, even like their thumbnails for the videos are very like, you have to watch this, or, and
Mm-hmm.
then the conversation, of course, isn't that dire, but
Yeah.
that's always the hook. But I feel like it's creating a lot of separation.
Yeah.
And
Yes.
look, if you look at history, there's always been times of upheaval. I mean, it's just natural that it's cyclical. It seems extreme right now, but I don't
Mm-hmm.
know if we take a step back, is it really? If you look really at some other periods of time, I don't know. But I know the less I pay attention to it, like I definitely will read the headlines or focus in on a story to
Mm-hmm.
be able to communicate effectively with people, but I just don't attach to a lot of it.
Yeah.
And so I don't know. I think it's creating a divide even in the spiritual space. Someone's high vibe or low vibe or this or that, and that seems kind of counter
Productive. Yeah.
productive to what we're talking about, really.
Yeah.
There's a
Because yeah, you're absolutely right. It's creating a fear, but also a feeling of, mm, something is wrong within me. Like there's something wrong within me, and much of my work really focuses on not that there's something wrong within you, that maybe the person is not seeing what is good,
Mhm.
right? So because our, you know, coming from our primate, from our earlier how we were, not just how we were raised, but even as humanity has evolved, this feeling of some danger is out there. Our
Mhm.
minds are sort of already pre-programmed
Mhm.
into that feeling of something is wrong, or maybe seeking something is wrong all of the time, or something is wrong on the outside, but something is wrong on the inside. And that can exacerbate the fear when everybody is sort of doing some type of work, that they also feel that they have to be in that group, that everybody's working on something, that
Mhm.
I also need to, is the fear of missing out, that I may be missing out. But a lot of it is really to do with just sort of moving inward, to moving
Mhm.
from the outer existence to the inner world,
Yeah.
and maybe recognizing that the inner world is even more extensive and even more fun than the outside world. And so just maybe an invite. So today's work, I think today's conversation, if anything, the energies are asking us to just simply reel everybody in, whoever's listening, to
Mhm.
just pay attention to the inner space. And we talk about spirit, and we feel that the spirit kind of exists outside, but a big chunk of that spirit is really inside as
Mhm.
well. And
Mhm.
through the inside work, through the inside connection, we can actually connect to the outside. Well, it's not really outside, it's within, but it's the expansiveness
Mhm. It's what we
of our.
experience on the outside.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
I know. I think that's so important to kind of hone in today.
Yeah.
Yeah, because, I think, at least for me, when I've gone through different challenges or, you know, periods of recreation, or there's been many, but I'm always really the same person, just having a different experience.
Mm-hmm.
So if you kind of look at it like you're just having an experience, and it doesn't have to be labeled or bad, it doesn't have to be, you might be down for a while. It's not depression. You're just having an experience. And
Yeah.
yeah, and that's why I think our culture is so labeled.
Yes.
Labeling these little
Exactly.
children
Mm-hmm.
so young. And then once you have a label, you identify with what that is.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know. I just don't think, I don't know. I don't think we can just be.
We can just be. Yeah.
Mhm.
It's okay, it's okay to be, but when we, yes, I mean, we can just be and enjoy and really appreciate life, and and as we also grow, our relationships also get so much better. And those people that are around us, if you have a spouse or a significant other, or if both are sort of growing at the very same time, they can be better friends, better lovers, better, just not sort of second guess each other, or just we can sort of go with the flow. That easefulness is is paramount, I think.
Yeah. All right. We have one question coming in. Happy New Year to you both, for Monica. Are you at liberty to share more about the energies you channel? Is it a collective?
Ooh, very good question. Wow. Who did that question come from?
GIRJUG.
Mm, okay, I had a feeling it was that. Great question. Where am I getting the energy from? Well, very good question. So, when I had my near death experience and I came back into the body, and I became a quick conduit easily, as effortlessly, without seeking it. And I would see a image when I would close my eyes, and this beautiful light would come through my body, come through my scalp, and run through my whole space. And at that time, I didn't know what this was. I had no idea what was happening, except I knew that whatever was happening was really how it should be. When you leave the body and come back in, it's almost like you're washed and gone into the sort of the dryer or maybe washing machine and been agitated and cleaned out. And you come out feeling so fresh and new. And all of those mind processes, what is this? Who are you? Who is this? Who is that? Those questions sort of vanished. And so I didn't really even know I had to ask a question as to who are you, as that light was coming in, because I'd experienced that light out of the body as well. So it felt very familiar, and I didn't ask. And so for a very, very long time, it I just felt like I had to connect with this light, and I would be able to understand everything about myself first. And then when I'd be out with other people, I would be able to feel them as well through that light. But what I would see also is this image of a maybe a person, but maybe not, like a saint or somebody who's of a very high spiritual ranking, maybe not even ranking. Ranking is a word that is so three-dimensional. So, but someone who's very evolved. Let's see a soul that's very evolved. And I would see this image, not knowing what it was or who it was. But over the years, I've understood that the energy that I'm channeling, it's channeling, I don't know if I'm channeling it or it is coming to me. That is the question. I don't know if, because I don't feel like I'm doing it, it just happens automatically. So I don't know. It's a very good question. I don't know if it's singularly just a entity or just, I think it's like the light, and the light is a part of the collective, and the collective is a part of that light. So I hope this makes sense. I don't know if I've answered your question, but all I know is that, whatever messages I receive, they are pretty spot on to what the person needs at that moment. and in an effort to really help that person
Mm.
evolve and grow. So,
Yeah. Well, I heard you say one time, you said it very beautifully, that you felt like you went over and you saw the light and it's like you had a backpack and you just put them in
the
your
lights
backpack
in my backpack.
and brought it back with
Brought it
you.
back down.
Mhm.
You're right. It's kind of like that. It's like I traveled somewhere overseas, or and I found something that just came to me, and I just had to embrace it and bring it back. And exactly, that's exactly right. Thank you for remembering that
Yeah, and I
conversation.
just share really quickly. I've said this before, but I feel like it's just time to say it again. For those of you who I don't know, I met Monica, gosh, oh my gosh, 8 years ago already, and my sister drove me to your house. It was a Sunday. I'm in Virginia Beach, and we drove to Richmond, to meet in your beautiful studio. And I just remember when you opened the door, and I couldn't even. It's hard to even describe. It was just like I saw this light. It's like I saw you, but really I saw more of the light. And
Yeah.
we had this really amazing time. I think we were scheduled for an hour or something, and we sat down, and I ended up looking at your art. I took one home, and we were in there for hours. And I think when we finally got out of the session, my sister was on the porch, and they were waiting. Like we went way over, and we didn't even really know it. I mean, we were just in this
In a
different,
moment.
in another space together. It was just so beautiful.
It really was. It's really, and that's really something that happens pretty much all the time is the 1 hour or whatever time, the way it's understood in this world, so linear, makes no sense to me at all, at all. So, and I don't like to put reminders or anything, like uh, set a timer. Sometimes I have to, but I don't like to because that takes away from being in the moment. And that's something I think, if you, like I said, if you were an artist or a dancer, Wendy, you were a ballet dancer, so you know what that feels like when you're in that moment, all time has stopped, right? You just feel like you don't want to even be reminded of time existence or existence of time as we know it. And that's really how I feel pretty much all of the time,
I know.
especially when I'm with all of you lovely, beautiful souls. I feel that way. I don't want to leave y'all.
Well, it's funny because lately, I want to say maybe since COVID, I just feel like I don't experience time. I haven't tried to do it any, but it's like the day will go and I have the things I'm going to do, but I'm not as stressed. And
Yeah.
I kind of just go from one thing to the other. It isn't this arduous kind of like go here, go there. I don't know if,
Flow, in the flow.
I don't know if other people are experiencing that, but I am.
I think, yes, I think others have mentioned that. Many others have said that everything rolls into one day, like one thing after another. It's like a blur. All the lines are blurring. Yeah, it
Yeah.
feels that way months and days and years. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it could be I'm just getting older, and that's what they say too.
And
But
we all
I,
are getting older.
but I do feel like it's different. I do feel like I experience. I don't. And then they say, time is just made up. It's a construct for us.
Yes, it's a mind construct,
Yeah.
something that we all created because we
You
were
know, where
getting bored. I'm kidding.
wherever I've been in the world, like I've spent a lot of time in New York or moved or whatever. I don't really keep a clock or TV in my room or anything, but I would always know what time it is by like the light outside or the amount of cars I could hear going by or what have you. It's just a better way to be.
Yeah. Any more questions? We're here.
I know.
Come on, I'm sure you have questions for us.
Hmm. It's so much more fun when there's questions.
Yeah. No question is silly or,
No.
please ask away. Yeah.
Well, here we got one. How do we know when we're using our brains versus our heart or intuitive feelings?
Who are you asking this
And that's
question?
Mike. That is from my
Oh, how do we know if we're
how,
using
our
our
brain.
mind
Mhm.
or heart or
Intuitive feelings.
ah, that's a great question. So, intuitive feelings and heart are synced in. They come from the same source. So, to access the innermost recesses of yourself where wisdom resides, the initial entry point is really the heart. You have to enter in through the heart to access that. The brain or the mind um, is really like a how should I describe this? The mind is very connected to what is happening in the past or the future. So the middle point, the so the bookends basically. So it's operating from the past. So everything you've been through in your past life, it has that information. And then everything that is not yet occurred, so you're projecting something out in the future, then you know that that's your mind space. So if you're operating from fear or anxiety or something that has to be done, as Wendy you mentioned earlier, uh, like a sensation of urgency, something that has to be done now, that is coming from a ego slash mind state, because it's already creating that feeling of this is not okay, that is not okay, therefore you should do this. Whereas if you feel it in the heart, you might just experience a sort of a almost like a lake that is placid, like it's calm. Whereas if you're looking at the water construct, then you'll feel like the mind might be like a ocean that has these waves, 30 feet waves crashing. And there's some excitement happening that requires that feeling, So what has to happen is that in order for us to access the intuitive parts of us, we all have it, by the way, is that the mind has to shut down. If the mind is hyperactivated, the intuition doesn't open up. You literally have to be jumping out, or literally jumping out of the diving board and falling into the water, to fall from the brain of the mind, dip into the heart. And once you're there enough, long enough, slowly, but you're doing this on a regular basis, then it slowly starts to open up. The channels of the heart begin to open up like that. And the more it opens up, our ability to really go in there and access that source of intuition heightens.
Yeah.
And there's a process. And when I work with clients, we're coaching everybody how to actually get there. But the preceding part of that is really about shutting the mind down, because the mind creates a lot of that angst and you know fears and a lot of comparisons and jealousy and all of that. So if you feel that that's happening on a regular basis, you're in your mind. And the intuition, when you feel that, and if that comes as a spark, that likely will be coming from a space of love, not fear, unconditional love, and not fear.
And there's science about this now. I mean, they're starting to study these things. I know some of you may have heard of something called Heart Math, the Heart
Hmm.
Math Institute.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, I mean, it's really fascinating.
It's fascinating, right? Because the heart is like the new brain. I mean, initially everybody talked about IQ and the importance of, having a very hyper fast brain. And yes, the brain is important, but I think what we're seeking is really, as you mentioned earlier, an integration as a pathway that the mind and the heart can work collect as a unified space. That flow can happen better when you're sort of working like that.
Yeah. We are, the foundation is doing our I can't believe it's our third annual Healing Arts and Medicine Conference. This year is going to be the Mind Body Connection, and we are going to have Bruce Cryer, who is the former CEO of HeartMath, on.
Ah,
Yeah, so it's really, he's wonderful and so gracious to join. So
oh,
yeah,
that would be wonderful.
I'm excited to hear
Yeah,
more,
yeah.
yeah.
And then he'll probably be pulling in a lot of the esoteric concepts with science and how it all sort of works together.
But that's what's really interesting to me is, I mean, 10, 5, 10, 15 years ago, I don't think we could have been having these conversations openly. They were more like in the back end of a bookstore, in the corner of a coffee shop because you didn't want
Yes.
people to overhear you. Um, but they are creeping into just everyday conversations, and I love that science is matching, or um, consciousness, really, right?
Yeah. Yes, yes, yes. Lots of research happening everywhere on consciousness. Yeah. And
Hmm.
I'm really excited about 2026. I think there's going to be a big quantum leap for most of humanity heading in this direction as well.
Good.
That's the
Yeah.
starting point of that. Yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah. What other questions do we have?
I don't know. Let's see. I don't have any more coming in yet. Yeah, we're at about 5:30. So thank you guys for finding us. I changed the name of the podcast this year just to refocus some branding. I have a book coming out later in the year, and the podcast really is really inseparable from the foundation. I created it kind of separate just so I could talk a little more openly, Monica, about some of these things, but now it's acceptable.
It
It's
is.
not mainstream. I didn't want to kind of push a donor off or make someone feel uncomfortable, but now it's 2026. We can talk about it.
Yeah,
We can talk about
absolutely.
these things. So yeah. So now it's just same, you can still find the same episodes. They're all still there. Just it was actually easier than I thought to change the name.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah.
We got another question coming in. Follow-up question to the last one. Mind versus heart. How to control the mind when it feels like a lot of angst or fear, and use the heart to get emotions in control.
Wow. Yes. So one thing that you might find this interesting to know, but emotions also reside in the mind. Did you know that? There's a concept of emotions that comes from the mind as well. So we oftentimes relate, we feel that emotions means heart, that there are also emotions that come from the mind as well. Um, and so really, really, first of all, I think the basic understanding is what is the functionality of the brain or the mind? I know we use it interchangeably, but let's just use the word mind or head, if we might. What is the functionality of the brain or the mind? I mean, there is a purpose why we have it, and it is because it is a tool. I oftentimes will explain it like this: it's a tool, like a computer, and it's a tool that you will use for the tasks that need analysis or calculations or things like that. But if we bring it into the rest of our lives, you know, then it can bring about a sense of complication because it's sort of interfering with how the heart functions. And the
Mhm.
functionality of the heart really is to simply connect with the innermost aspect of us. So if you're quiet, you might find this is if you are really quiet, if you stay quiet sometimes, you're not thinking. It's very hard to do, right? Because the mind is forever thinking. So if we can really, really coach ourselves, teach ourselves to calm down enough. So if there are messes in the house, leave it be. If something is happening around that has to be done, just for about 5 minutes. Because everything that has to be done will still be there and you can go to it later. See where I'm going with this? So, but when we feel we have to do it now, the urgency is there. That's when we know we're definitely in the mind.
Yeah.
So that's one way to identify that. And the heart would be it's always there, it's always available to us. It's always there, it's always calm. It's like that placid lake. No matter when you reach it, it's always there, right? So you
Mhm.
can either, so it's a choice. You can either go there or go here. If people know that there is a choice, think
Mhm.
a lot of the times they feel trapped in the mind and not knowing that there is a way out. I have a funny story to share. This was somebody who was going to a engineering school in another country where they go away for college, and they were hazing, or at that time, I know it's banned now, but I'm talking about 35 years ago. And this person came back from engineering school, and he was telling us, a group of us, how how he was being hazed, and they wanted to create a sense of fear or something in him. But he's a smart guy, so they took him to the topmost part of the building, and they had him go on a ledge, and then they say jump. And of course, jumping meaning jump down, but he had the foresight to jump backward. He actually was applauded, and they really celebrated him because he just jumped back. The minute he said jump, he jumped, made a jump backwards. So that really is what we're talking about, is
Mhm.
to change the framework. If we think the framework is everything is led by the mind, everything, our whole world really revolves around our mind and how the mind perceives something. But if we can coach ourselves to really just pivot. And it's a choice to either go looking there or looking here, looking for solutions or looking for problems. If you look
Mhm.
for solutions, you find solutions. If you go
Mhm.
looking for problems, you find more problems. So the mind seeks to you know seeks to find a problem and go into it.
Mhm.
Makes sense?
Yeah.
And then the heart, what happens with the heart? The heart leads us, and it slowly brings us inward again. So,
Yeah. All right, Monica, there's another question for you. Happy New Year. How can we distinguish between real concerns versus anxious feelings, and when could be the right mindset for balancing life and inner peace?
could you speak the first part out again?
Sure. How can we distinguish between real concerns versus anxious feelings, and
Mhm.
what? Mhm. Yeah.
How can we distinguish between anxious feelings and real concerns? Very good question. Again, I think what the best way for us to do that is to have the question and just repeat it out within, like first say it out and then feel it in. So the thought, then we move into the feeling and feeling it out. So if you feel it, you have to really understand how the body is sensing that. So if it's for example, if you are heading toward a danger space, say there's a fire somewhere and you can feel that, right? So before, when you're noticing, okay, there's a fire here, and you're feeling that fire, what is happening inside the body? So for example, you have a thought that shows up, you're feeling into your space, into your physical body, where am I feeling this expression that I've just experienced? Where is it showing up in the body? So let's say if you're scared, most people will feel it in the body somewhere. Perhaps it's a heart that begins to race. Perhaps it's sweaty palms, or some people feel something in their abdomen. Um, some of those are the ways in which our bodies are also responding to whatever's been said. So I think the question is, how do they know, or how can they know whether something is real or not real? That's their question.
Mhm.
Um, First thing you need to know is it coming from your mind? Is your mind hyperactivated as you're feeling that? Or is it your heart that feels it, right? So once you can make that distinct, if you can discern that, then if it's coming from the heart, right? It will tell you. Somehow the body will speak to you. So coaching ourselves to understand the language of the body. That's the preceding steps. We really have to understand how the body speaks. Wendy, do you do that? Do you feel that when you're, having some big problem that has just opened up? Can you feel it in your body first?
Yeah, I can feel it first, but I
Yeah.
think I've gotten to a point where, I don't. I mean, it's all whatever's going on is going to be okay. I try to just kind of relax into, yes, honoring the feeling, knowing that something's got to happen, or there's got to be some attention put on it, but I don't react as much as I used to
Right.
the anxiety or the
Yeah.
fear.
But
You
I
know,
think it's because you're also sinking in with the heart, right? Because if
yeah.
you were in the mind, you would constantly feel anxious. You would constantly feel like, there's a reason for you to run into something or run away from something. That is hyper generated from the mind. That
Mm,
is classic mind activity. So really, really getting a closer understanding, a closer feeling of this is how my mind responds to a situation. This is how my heart responds. The heart is usually calm.
yeah,
You
calm.
may have these ups and downs. It's normal for everybody, for the best of us. When we are in these tense situations, we do experience some highs, a quick high and a quick low. It's normal, by the way, to feel that. But when it gets challenging and difficult is when it's a sustained low or a sustained high low, high low, high low.
Hmm.
That can really be very challenging on your body
Hmm.
systematically, in a system, and in your heart as well. So opportunities to find those calm moments is a quick, even if you're driving somewhere and you feel that anxious moment coming in, breathing can help quickly shift away from that mind directly into the heart. That's why we urge clients to do these breathing techniques 3 times a day, even for a minute at a time, even 50 seconds at a time. Because what that does is it quickly shifts you out of the mind and transports you easily into the heart.
And I think the magic of that, when you can integrate those two, when they work in tandem,
Tandem.
um, it really, I don't, it's so, you don't really need a lot from the outside. You're not
Mhm.
asking all of your friends what you should do. You're not seeking opinions. You're not, it, you be, the level of discernment goes up
Yeah.
about about everything.
Right. The quieter you are, the calmer you are, and the more time you spend with yourselves, in that quiet moment. And I know it's hard because life is just so busy all the time. We all go through those kinds of experiences, but I think we all can, carve out some time to just switch off. And I think the more we all do that as a collective, I think we develop compassion, empathy through those moments of calm and quiet.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And I think you have to make it a priority.
absolutely.
I
Yes,
mean, even if
absolutely.
it's going for a walk or going to an exercise class or spending, I mean, you just have to put it in,
You have to, yeah.
put it on the
Spending time
list.
with plants, I always urge everybody to, if you have never owned a plant, get one. Get a plant because they hold space for us quietly, quietly. Um,
I heard someone say the other day, I don't know if this is a fact, but let's say you're out of town and you're gone for a week. When you get within a certain range of your house, your plants can feel it.
yeah, it's like those animals, those dogs and
Hmm.
cats. I think dogs, I know for sure, they can smell you even before you've come to the door. They already start barking. They know you're coming.
I know
It's
it's.
that, it's amazing. Plants are like that too. We love plants.
Hmm.
We just love plants. And I think if whoever is listening on the platform and you don't have a plant, please go find a plant that resonates with you. Buy it and spend some time, and that will instantly calm you down. Instantly.
I did some landscaping this year, and it was so interesting because I took some old, I mean, it's a mid-century house, so some of the bushes and stuff were, been here for 60 years or more. So those got ripped out, but I was really intentional about what I put in, and it was such a different feeling once everything got rooted in and I had these
Yeah.
big boulders that I brought in, and it was like, it was almost like you could just feel the land, like,
Yeah.
thank you.
Thank you. Yes.
Yeah,
Yes.
and
And
it was so fun. I mean, it was so fun.
it, it is. You probably did that in the summertime, right?
I did in the summer, yeah.
Yeah. Another way that plants can help us in is with grounding. So if you
Mhm,
touch the soil and if you're, on it, you're standing on it, you're playing with, planting, it really is very grounding. And we've oftentimes talked about grounding. You all
mhm,
know, those of you that work with me,
mhm.
we do a lot of grounding work spiritually, in spirit and through spirit, but on a physical level, you can do that through plants as well.
Yeah, yeah. I was barefoot jumping along the rocks. It was fun.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, there's another question, Monica. Could you touch the tip of the iceberg about death slash passing? So that's a big, do you want her to narrow it down a little bit more?
Yeah. Who is this wise person asking this question?
Right, so this is from at GIRJUJ.
Okay.
I don't know why I can't say that, but maybe she'll type in. Yeah, that's a big ask. Could you touch the tip of the iceberg about death and passing?
About death
About death and passing.
and
Death.
passing. Okay. Wow. Okay. Death and passing. Just okay. That's. Could she elaborate more on that,
Yeah,
or?
I was gonna ask her too. It's so funny. I talk about this a lot because a lot of what I think I hope comes through some of the things that I've shared is that I would love for the landscape around death to be different and
Yeah.
grief and for it not to be taboo and it's
Yeah.
scared for people to talk about. But I like to say that like the way I experience, and I've got a lot of people over on the other side, is they're just in another dimension.
Exactly.
They're just outside their body. It's not like
Exactly.
they're not. It's so interesting. When I first started talking about it, you could see people, they were like, what is she talking about? But I think over time, they've watched me have these bonds don't go away.
Yeah.
I feel like,
Yes.
or my experience is, or I just have strong bonds with these people that cannot be severed. But yeah, but so that
Yeah.
kind of light for me, I don't know if that's her question or even anything about what she wanted to know, but I feel like it's just easier for people to accept sometimes.
It is, and you're so right that it has been in our culture a taboo to speak about it, and we for forever we've only understood death as somebody's gone, the body is either cremated or buried, and that's the end of story. But there's such a life and a big universe that exists, that life continues on after this lifetime that we are sharing together. And just rightfully, as you said, just because somebody has passed on doesn't mean that their presence doesn't exist at all, because it very much does. um, Myself also having had that experience of leaving the body, going into the light, and I know from reading other accounts of other people who have experienced near death experiences, they have had there's a varying understanding of what this quote unquote death looks like. For me, it was light and more light. For others, it's something else, something totally different. But I think what is important for us to know is that the bonds that we all share in this lifetime, like you and I, Wendy, and others, our kith and kin, our family members, our friends, our extended families, we all have been together at some point and some other lifetime before. That connection never dies. And just because somebody has left the body doesn't mean that lifetime has that this particular lifetime has ended. However, that spirit, that soul will still continue on to live, like you said, in another dimension. It's like leaving this room and going to another room and you can't see me because of the four walls that have, you know, sent me out, and that's it. But that life never ends. That life of the spirit of our soul that never ever dies. It's like energy. It is energy, can never be destroyed or created, right? It's already there, just like that. So, yes, I hope, this has, we've just scratched the surface to answer your question, but there's so much, and maybe someday we can just sit together and have a long 2-hour chat about this.
Oh,
This
I
is karma. There's always questions about karma in this.
It's so, so much. But she did, okay, so she's chimed in a little bit more. Does each individual on passing have divine help through their journey? A loved one passed, she said, he feels for me, but he has help too, right?
Yes, absolutely. Yes. Yeah. So on this earth, we have as helpers or allies or supporters, um, some people call them angels or, you know, yeah, they're, souls that have gone through the school of life and have, grown and matured, and they have all of the wisdom, and they see us, as we're living here, life here, they see us, and when we need help, they quickly come in to support us, guide us. But the souls that have passed on, just because they have passed on doesn't mean that they have already evolved. Just a passing away doesn't determine that. It's the spiritual work that they should have gone through, or that they will go through, that determines how quickly that soul has the capability of working with you, or with, their loved ones who are still on this earth, if that makes sense. I remember, I may have shared this story on another podcast, but I remember I met this one particular person um, some time ago, and she used to connect with loved ones in her sleep, in her dreams. Have I mentioned this before?
Mm-mm, no.
Mm. And she used to connect with people. And I remember I met her at a gathering. I was at someone's house, and I met this woman there. And when she could feel that I could, connect with departed souls, she asked me a question. She said, "Well, I see these things. I see departed souls in my sleep, in my dreams. And I think I've become an open channel. And these souls that have passed on are coming to me, and they're asking me to do this, that, or the other for people that are still on this earth." And I said, and I could feel her. I said, "It's been a challenge for you." And she said, "More than a challenge. Can you help me turn that off?
Oh.
Because it has created so much of trouble, infighting in the families, because these departed souls who've passed on, I think it was her uncle or something, was trying to control, material wealth here on this earth, and through his egoic, you know, desire, I guess, was telling her, because she was an open channel, that she had to do this, that, or the other, and she would just do it. It would create tremendous trouble and problem, and she was so tired of it. And she said to me, "Monica, can you please help me to turn that off, because I don't want to be the mediator here between this." And so just to remember that when a soul dies and moves on, they are still also, still evolving and still going through the life and death continuum. Now that they may be in a spirit form, but they are, they have to do their own work too. And there are spirits, higher spirits and guides that support them as well for their growth as well. So yes, I hope I've answered your question. Yeah.
And I was listening to a podcast last night actually, and I heard someone talk about, that concept of, the life review,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
But it was really cool the way he said it, and I've heard this before, as if it's not a punishment,
No.
or it's not, or to say, oh, you, a pat on the back, you did so great, and now you can go do all these other things. It's just a review. You get to experience your life through all the other people, and it's just a recognition. It's, you had an experience and that's what happened. So that kind of makes it, I don't know, I kind of feel like I maybe intrinsically knew that.
Yeah.
It's not like you're gonna, be punished.
No, 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 no. It's just a school of life. We
Mhm.
see it as school, a school that has no grades, no marks or no grades. You're just going through it as an experience, as you said. But
Mhm.
I think what it also does, I was speaking to somebody else who had had a near-death experience, and I didn't have the life review per se in my experience, but this other woman I was speaking to, she said she had one, and I asked her. I said, So, what did you feel when you were going through that experience? The out of the body, but then you had a life review, and she said, I felt so terrible within myself. Nobody reprimanded me and said, you did this, you did that. It's more like she felt it within herself that she had done something very wrong. And she felt it so deep. She felt the pain of that other person on whom she had inflicted pain that she said she remembered from childhood. And she said that pain was, hyper accentuated. And she felt the pain so much that when she came back into the body again, right? That's why I was talking with her. She said, I knew that I had to make a change within myself in how I was viewing other people and life. And so she started changing. So
Wow.
that was that review that opened up. It just showed her what she had done wrong,
Mhm.
meaning it wasn't somebody else showing it or God showing it or anything like that, but it was her own understanding and the revelation that came out from that, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
And I found it was very interesting that she was feeling that. And she said, now I feel like I just have to be the best version of myself. I have to be
Mhm.
who I am. So the layers is exactly what we talk about in our work is we're just pulling out the layers. You
Yeah.
already are that. You are this amazing soul, amazing being. You are a most beautiful soul, but most people cannot even recognize that they are that. So the sooner we get to that point, the faster we you know, reach the space of enlightenment. So
Yeah.
yeah,
I have a medium and I go to her once a year. It's kind of just my annual check-in. I do. It's fun and it's always so like wildly enlightening. But I mean, mainly it's just confirmation of what, I feel like I kind of know. But someone who had passed came through. He always comes through. And she said he doesn't even like to look at that life, the life that I had.
yeah,
And yeah, it's like, he's back to his whole self,
yeah,
not the fragment that came down and it
yes,
had this one life. So and it's so interesting because every time I go, there's a new conversation or a new way of hearing
yeah,
about the connection or hearing, how we are here, but we're
yeah,
there. And I think there's parts I've always heard that like, I don't know if this is right, but like 20% is up there. And when you come in, 80% is down here. So you're always tethered by the little string. And I
yeah,
was like, okay, well that makes me feel better. I mean,
yeah.
and that's why, because I think I'm more on the string. I'm probably 50 there, 50 here. Sometimes I feel like, but I like it like that.
Yes, and I think each time you made an interesting
Mhm.
comment. You said, well, every time you see her, there's new things come up. It's because you are growing and you are changing. And as you are growing and changing, that information that comes to you that she's sharing with you, you're ready to receive it. So the
Yeah.
more you're ready to receive it, new information comes
Mhm.
in. So that's what's happening also is as we change and as we shift, we start to feel that growth is happening on a more exponential level. The
Mhm.
quantum leaps are happening, and
Mhm.
I think this, closing out on this
Yeah.
conversation, 2026 is going to be a great year, amazing year for everybody in every regard, in every respect. I think we can't wait to see what unfolds for everybody,
Well, I
you
love
included.
that. You are so
Yes,
positive.
absolutely. I feel that for everyone who's
Mhm.
listening and who will listen later too.
Mhm.
You know.
Yeah, I saw a lot of memes at the end of the year, and people, they're kind of funny about like 25 being so bad, and all kinds of all
This
kinds.
one says 6, 7.
I don't. I
Six,
kind of, my nephew
seven.
does that. I don't know. We laugh about that. I kind of don't know what that is, but
You don't
it's
know what that is?
no. Is I
Oh
don't.
no, you don't know what 6, 7 is. You got to go. If anybody is listening and doesn't know what 6, 7 is, go to Google, punch in 6, 7, and see what happens. The whole thing moves like this.
Well, I
Six,
see it to
seven.
my nephew because it makes him mad. Um, it's because yeah, we always joke. But I don't really know. I think he tried to explain to me someone. It was a kid who started it,
Yeah,
right? Okay.
yeah. It's based on a song by Skrilla, and it's the name of the song is Doot Doot, and he has these stanzas. He's singing the song, and then at every interval he says 67, 66, 7, 6, 7, 6, 7, and it caught on this meme caught on social media. I think
Mhm.
TikTok was the place where it just blew crazy.
Mhm.
And wherever you go, kids are just saying that. It doesn't mean anything,
I
actually.
know, that's what I was
It doesn't mean anything, nothing of
not.
significance. It's just a fun thing, but yeah.
Yes, so anyway, but it was just funny to see all these people and like, oh, everyone's just trying to push 25 like in the back, but I had some great things happen in 25.
Yeah, I think so too. I agree. Lots of good things, but wait, wait for this new thing that's unfolding. I think as a human race, we're experiencing something big. And with yesterday's full moon, the super moon, I think we got more beautiful energy coming from that.
So is it going to be more like a 9-10 kind of year versus a 6?
9, 10.
Maybe it's a 9.
Oh,
I'll
that's
take
funny,
it.
Wendy.
I'll take it. Well,
Yeah.
Monica, thank you so much for your time and for your gifts that you share. And yes, so yes, you answered her question. She said very much thank you.
Oh, wonderful. You're welcome. I really appreciate all of your questions today. And looking forward to the next time we'll all be together.
Mhm.
Yeah.
All right, Monica,
Thank
here's
you,
to what,
Wendy. Thank
yeah.
you, Benjamin Goldberg Foundation, for having me again as a guest. And it's always fun to be together.
Anytime, and just Happy New Year, everyone.
Happy New Year, all. Thank you. Bye.